You're watching a Throttle House track test. And
yeah, we've gone and done it. Look at that.
welcome to the Throttle House test track, our very own corner of the earth where we can drag race and set lap times. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James. And yes, we made it happen. You asked and we answered. Today we have the Camaro SS1LE and the Mustang GT Performance Pack 2. And this is a strange comparison for us because it makes sense.
Weird, eh? Actually, we've road tested both of these cars. You should watch that video. James got in a fight with a girl. But today we've actually broken our own rule. We have both of these cars on Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s, one of the best performance tires available. Usually we put the cars on their stock tires, but today we wanted to see exactly what these two cars can do side by side on the same tire.
And all of this is made possible by Crown Rust Control. If you live in a place where rust is a thing, then Crown is the solution. I just got my Subaru rust-proof by Crown, and now the only time I'm worried about salt is when someone unscrews the shaker and then it ruins your food.
That is a good one, yeah, no, that works.
Basically, if you have a car, cars rust, get it crowned, period. This is the Mustang GT Performance Pack 2. In this, the top performance spec, the Mustang gets some upgraded aero and a super sticky 305 width Michelin tire, which should help put down its 460 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque from its 5-liter V8 Coyote engine. With MagneRide suspension and a Torsen rear diff, its gloves are off and it's ready to throw down. But it has a very serious rival.
The Camaro SS, 6.2 litres and 8 cylinders of naturally aspirated fury. The aficionados among you will notice that this has the 2018 fascia, and that's because it is one. But it's mechanically the same, and we think it looks better too. And it's got the 1LE package, which comes with things like magnetic ride control, an electronic LSD, 6-piston Brembo brakes, and some track-focused suspension upgrades. Today, it's on Michelin Cup 2 tyres. Be afraid, Mustang. Be very afraid.
Before you watch this race, subscribe so that you can catch lots more content just like this. And follow us on Instagram at The Throttle House. All right, Mustang GT. This is an important drag race and I want to get it right. Okay, so I've got the launch control set. I just tested the surface to make sure that I've got it set at the proper RPM. So when I dump the clutch, it should actually hook up as well. Now our rules are, this is like a stoplight drag race, right? So there's no heating the tires, no lowering the pressures. This is if these two cars pulled up right next to each other, and we're gonna see which one wins. I gotta do this right. This is a real test.
So, this should be an interesting race because Thomas's has 460 horsepower. This has 455. I have more torque than him. I'm lighter weight than him. My car is lighter weight than his. In order to get this ready for launch control, I'm going to go into track mode and then I double tap traction control and I can navigate it down to Sport 1. And then that puts me in a position to launch. So I have no lift shift, which means I haven't got to lift my foot off of the throttle the whole time. I just got to clutch in. It's a strange thing that you have to get used to, but it gives me an advantage over Thomas. Okay. Off. Here we go. Oh, it just sounds so good. And I'm beating him. And I'm in third gear.
Ah, he's got me. Come on. I'm fucking flat.
And fourth.
Come on. Ah!
That is a win to the Camaro.
Ah, this was a half mile. This was a half mile. Oh, that was exciting. Ah.
How you doing?
I can feel myself pulling. I can feel myself pulling on you at the end. Half mile is all I need.
You don't have a half mile.
Oh.
This is a quarter mile.
Oh, I hooked up well. My launch was fine.
That's actually how I've learned to live life, actually.
Oh my.
Yeah, I kind of try and live it a quarter mile at a time. I came up with that. You can write that down. To the track?
To the track.
Woohoo! Okay, I'm in the 1 Elite on the track, and as we know, this is in a really cool blue wrap. And when we did the road review, the color of this car might as well have been called Blue Balls Blue, because this thing belongs on the track. And when you take it on here, you realize how bloody good it is.
All right, the Mustang GT. There is just something about this engine that I absolutely love. The sound of it and the way that it revs. I know that there's a GT350 that exists, and I've driven it, and it's incredible. But listen, 7,500 RPM. It sounds so good. And on the outside of the car, it actually sounds even better.
Okay, things you need to know. This has magnetic damping, so does the Mustang, but this had it first. It also has a really clever differential and all the cooling systems you need to run this on the track for tons of laps. This also has a very stiff chassis. I mean, I can feel what each of the tires are doing. The feedback through the steering wheel is magnificent. And I love the smaller diameter wheel with the Alcantara. It feels fantastic for the track.
Yeah, there's just some poke to the engine that just, oh, there's something that I absolutely love about this. All right, let's talk about the way that it drives around the track. First thing that you notice is that the Magna-Ride suspension is really super impressive, actually. It deals with bumps in a really good way, and it controls the mass of the car really, really well. It's actually super impressive, and you can't really understand it until you get in one of these without it and then get in one of these with it, and you realize what's actually happening. There is no lean in the corners in this massive pony car.
There's barely any roll in the corners. I wonder if the Mustang feels more flat. I'm not sure. I have to drive them again back to back on the track. Gone are the days of boaty American cars. This is a good car. This is a sports car. And then when you put your foot down, the power goes through those rear wheels, and it's flying. I got the wonderful heads-up display here that tells me when to shift and my speed. Everything about this car is angled towards the track. It even has a camera on the front of the car that records in 720p and the audio of the cabin. So you can watch how your laps were on the screen and hear yourself scream.
All right, the next thing is this is on Cup 2s because it's the PP2. And there is so much grip. It is incredible. It doesn't mean that you can't unstick it though. Let's try. So I actually took both cars out for a bit of slidey fun, and what I realized is that the steering in the Mustang made it much harder to do a power slide than the Camaro. The Camaro just felt more controllable past the limit. But more importantly, these Cup 2s are made for grip, not being turned into smoke.
On these Cup 2s, it turns into a corner like, such a punch you in the gut way. It's unbelievable. I just got out my Miata after doing some fun laps, and this is just like another level of car, as it should be. What I'm so surprised about is how this feels more capable to me on the track than the M2 competition does, and that thing's $10,000 more.
The brakes are genuinely shocking. They're super touchy on the road, and I don't like them on the road, but out here, there's good pedal feel, and they're really, really powerful. They just move your skin to the front of your face. I actually like this. I know people complain about this Getrag transmission, but out here, I know they went with a shift fork that apparently brakes. I'm being a bit gentle, but this feels fantastic. The steering, though, is my least favorite part. It turns in really well, good ratio, but there's no feel to the front end. I know that Camaro has really good front end feedback. This doesn't really have any, and that's a bit of a bummer. Also, I don't love the steering wheel. I don't love it. I think it's cool looking, and it's very vintage, but I don't know. I prefer the steering wheel in the Camaro better.
Honestly, I thought I was going to be intimidated by this car, but I'm not. That's just the level of control you have over it, and it sounds unbelievable. I know a lot of people prefer that Coyote engine, but I have to be honest, I enjoyed this one. When you put your foot down, it's not hard to make those back wheels go squirrely, but it feels good. There's a part of it that it wants to misbehave, but then it reins in again and you have full control.
I honestly don't know which one of these is going to be faster. Everyone's money is probably on the Camaro, but this Mustang feels so competent at dealing with the bumps and undulations in this track. There's a lot of bumpy apexes of this track, which I try and avoid when I do the hot laps. Sometimes you just gotta cut it. And this thing feels like it deals with it really, really well.
Honestly, with the Cup 2s, it doesn't feel like it's meant for drifting, even though it's capable of it. It feels like it's meant for hot laps, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Thomas does with this car, because in his hands, it should be able to do wonderful things. Okay, hot laps. Very exciting because these two cars have had a rivalry for decades, and I'm really excited to see the result. So right now behind me, Thomas is setting hot laps in the Mustang, and he's starting with a warm-up lap, 3 hot laps, and then 1 cool-down lap. And that is all the time he has, so he has to make it count.
All right, let's take a look at my lap in the Mustang first. You can see a track map and speed in the bottom left-hand corner. We will look at the time of both at the end, but before we watch the best lap in the Camaro, let's hear if the Mustang's rear diff overheats as easily as some have said.
For those of you wondering, all the temperatures are fine. Transmission temperature's at about halfway. That's 1 pretty hot warm-up lap and 3 hot laps. Temperatures are totally fine out here. It's 22 degrees Celsius. There you go.
Okay, time for the best lap in the Camaro. In case you were wondering, all driving aids are turned off and climate control is off in both cars. Pay attention to how much stiffer the Camaro looks than the Mustang.
Okay, so we're here at the end of the most, I think, exciting race on the track series so far.
So far, yeah.
Right?
This is a big deal.
This is well. First of all, these things are monsters.
I can tell you that by experience.
They're
watched, crazy.
Yeah, I watched it.
They're so fast. Both of them are so fast.
So the fastest thing we've ever had on this track so far is the M2 competition,
Which did a
1:13.9.
So that's very quick.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I'm just going to prolong your misery for a second here. I've got the times.
No.
But I just want to say, first of all, the Mustang felt more planted, actually, than this did. This felt stiffer. The chassis was stiffer, the suspension was stiffer, so it would kind of get upset over the bumps. And the steering was a little bit better to work out. But the Mustang had just a certain quality to the way that the engine revved that was just really, I'm just killing you right now, aren't I?
Yep.
Yeah, this hurts you. I
I got you at crosshairs.
Okay. All right. I was just making that up. Here we go. The Mustang did a 1:12.77.
Wow. Okay, so it's over a second faster than an M2.
So that beat an M2 competition by quite a large margin of this track.
But the M2 is not on Cup 2s.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Camaro SS1LE.
So this is 1:12.7.
1:12.7. This did.
I will punch you, and I've got a broken wrist.
1:11.5.
And there you have it. Even on the same tyre, or when on the same tyre.
When on the same tire.
The Camaro wins.
The Mustang was more fun though, honestly. It was honestly way more fun to drive. This was incredibly fast, but the Mustang was, it just, if I was gonna go do another lap of the track right now, honestly, I would get in the Mustang.
That's how you know.
That's how you know.
All right, thanks for watching.